What's going on, guys? Good evening and welcome to Stateside Footy. It's your boy Steve, and it's another edition of the MLS live stream tonight. It is a Western Conference showdown as my beloved Seattle Sounders play host to the LA Galaxy. It's a good old-fashioned rivalry as these two teams have met up in a multitude of different matchups over the years in the Western Conference, whether it be in the regular season, whether it be in the playoffs, whether it be the Western Conference Finals. These two teams are very familiar with themselves, and tonight it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Do you know what else would be fantastic? If you guys hit that like and subscribe button and also hit that notification bell as well, so you don't miss out on any upcoming Stateside Footy content. And, of course, we are getting close to 500, and I would like to hit that number before we hit the World Cup. So, do me a favor. Show some love to the program. All right. So, as we are getting pretty close to kickoff, let's go ahead and get into tonight's lineups because, the Sounders have been unbeaten in their last 9, including 6 victories. If you've been paying attention to the Western Conference, they're currently sit on 24 points and are currently 5 points behind San Jose in second place, 6 points behind the Vancouver Whitecaps. And tonight, they are going to be lined up in their traditional 4-2-3-1. And in goal will be Thomas. And, of course, say what you will. I think he's actually gotten off to a pretty fantastic start this season in goal, taking over as the number 1 from Stephen Fry. And Andrew Thomas has been pretty much everything that he's been billed as. Listen, it's awfully big shoes to fill, considering that Stephen Fry has been, the guy pretty much over the course of the last decade in goal for Seattle. But that being said, I think we saw it a little bit last year when he stepped in Leagues Cup and had himself a fantastic performance as the Sounders lifted that trophy last year. But this year, coming into it, he is the clear-cut number 1, and he's done a pretty fantastic job. The back 4 tonight, on the left-hand side will be Nuhu Tolo, and he will be wearing the captain's armband today. And on the right side will be Kingston, Peter Kingston. Haven't seen a lot of Peter Kingston this season, but that being said, it is what it is, and I think really what it comes down to, it is an issue. It is an issue of injury, so we'll see exactly how he's going to perform tonight. The double pivot for the Sounders will be Snyder Brunel and Hassani Dotson. No Christian Roldan tonight, as he will be coming off the bench. And then, of course, the attacking 4, your wingers tonight on the left-hand side will be former U.S. men's national team pool player Paul Arriola. Jordan Morris will be on the right-hand side tonight. Jesus Ferreira will be underneath playing the number 10. And up top will be Danny Mazoski. And, of course, last season, Danny Mazoski had a 19-goal performance across all competitions. He was absolutely one of the brighter spots of last season, actually kind of coming out of nowhere with that 19-goal performance. So it should be interesting to see exactly how this one stacks up for the Sounders tonight. And, of course, head coach Brian Schmetzer, he seems to get the most out of everyone. And it doesn't necessarily matter the collection of players. They seem just seriously, every single year, this team seems to walk through a brick wall for this dude. Say what you will. He seems to kind of go. Schmetzer goes underneath the radar a little bit when it comes to some of the best coaches in Major League Soccer, but yet he has pretty much won every single thing there is to win in this league, and that's just proof of concept, really. When you kind of look at the trophy haul, and every single year this team is always within the top 5 come the end of the season. For the LA Galaxy, and of course, Greg Vanney will have this team set up in a 4-3-3. And in goal tonight will be Mark Jankowski, a back 4 of Yaman, who will be on the right-hand side. Nelson will be on the left-hand side in that left back position, and the center back pairing of Glesnes and Hawk. the best back five in Major League Soccer. They've kind of leaked goals this season. Now, granted, it's kind of interesting because this is kind of a work in progress. And, when you kind of think of the center back pairing, it is a relatively new center back pairing. And so, maybe this is just an issue of needing time to gel. But quite frankly, this is a team that has had difficulty stopping opposition from putting the ball in the opposite net. A lot of this has to do with that midfield. And of course, tonight, the midfield three will be Cirillo, Winder, and Tommy. And up top in the attacking three will be Peck, Paintsel, and Marco Royce. And of course, tonight on the bench for LA Galaxy will be Novak Mikovic, Chris Rindov, Harbor Miller, Mauricio Suevez, Maya Yoshida, Isaiah Parente, Lucas Sanabria, Matias Nascimento, and Ruben Ramos. For the Seattle Sounders will be Stephen Fry, Cody Baker. You have Kola Rienze, you have Kim Ki-hee, Albert Rusnik, Christian Roldan, Ozaze de Rosario, Paul Rothrock, and Sebastian Gomez. So those are your starting lineups tonight for both Seattle and the LA Galaxy. And this is a fun matchup, really, when you kind of think, because these two teams have met quite a bit over the course of the last 15, 20 years, really kind of when you think about when Seattle came into the league in 2009, took Major League Soccer by storm. And of course, that was within the first 4 years of Seattle's, I guess you can say, franchise, Major League Soccer franchise iteration. The LA Galaxy were that team. Of course, as they rebuilt, when Beckham first came over, they weren't exactly great, but they rebuilt themselves into a team that were consistently competing for MLS Cup. And of course, they won a few MLS Cups as well, too. And so when you kind of think of what these two teams, as Seattle, built to, and then what LA was, these two teams were constantly competing at the top of the Western Conference. And of course, the LA Galaxy always seemed to get the better of them. But as we got into the 2016 through 2020, and then of course Seattle, Seattle pretty much ended up dominating these two matchups. But that being said, regardless of who's the better team, they always seem to bring the best out of each other. And so from that standpoint, this is what I'm looking forward to tonight, because I would probably be remiss if we don't see a lot of goals. Now, the question for me isn't necessarily going to be what Seattle's going to do. I would probably assume that Seattle is going to be favored in this one, as we have seen over the course of a lot of these MLS live streams. Generally speaking, the home team generally has the advantage. Very rarely have we seen a road team come away with the 3 points. It has happened, but it seems to be the exception, not necessarily the rule. And so from that standpoint, I'm probably going to assume that Seattle is going to win. The question for me is going to be, what are the LA Galaxy going to be able to showcase tonight? Because from the point of view that I have is, number one, they don't have a primary target nine. The way that things set up, it almost feels like Marco Royce is probably going to be in that role tonight, whether he's going to play maybe even farther up, maybe in that false 9, 10 role, and then you're going to see maybe Gabriel Peck and Paintsel kind of weave in and out, maybe kind of facilitating from here and there, depending on the touches. But that being said, it almost feels like this is going to be a 9 by committee. And I don't necessarily think you're going to be able to win a lot of soccer games doing it that way. The other thing is that midfield as well, too. Not a lot of good quality in that midfield. And again, this is no disrespect, to Cirillo or Winder. The reality is this is, or Tommy, this seems like this midfield kind of seems to be a little bit of a mid. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and take pot shots at this midfield, but to be honest with you, this is a very a very underwhelming midfield. And when I think about what Seattle is going to be able to do coming forward, I actually personally believe that they're going to be able to play right through LA's midfield. And so from that standpoint, the onus is going to be on that back four. And I wouldn't be surprised at times if LA puts 10 behind the ball at certain points in time and just allow Seattle to kind of dominate possession. And potentially just will them to try to break them down, because from the standpoint of how LA is going to attack, it almost feels like they're going to have to be in counterattacking opportunities, because number one, I don't think they have the midfield where they're going to be able just to hold possession. The other thing, again, it's like I just don't understand how they're going to get goals tonight. So from that standpoint, this is probably looking. I'm going to say Seattle 3-1. And I'm not saying that because I'm wearing a Sounders jersey. I'm saying it because they're probably the better team. And of course, they're in front of their home crowd. And, LA just, they need a lot of work. I'll just say that. They need a lot of work. The interesting thing, though, is one of the guys that I'm looking forward to tonight is probably going to be Jesus Ferreira in that 10 role. Over the course of these last 9, where Seattle has gotten 6, Jesus Ferreira not only has scored, has been able to get on the score sheet, 3 times, 4 times. Very good goals, but he's also facilitated a lot of goals as well too. Whether it's dropping deep off the half turn and playing a ball forward, he has kind of been that guy in that 10 role, to the point where you're starting to see Albert Rusnik kind of coming off the bench now. And it's listen, I'll just say this, man, I'm actually kind of happy for Jesus Ferreira. When he came to Seattle, he didn't necessarily have a spot, because when you think about the fact that, he's coming in as a striker, was brought in to replace the production of a guy like Raul Ruidiaz, but Jordan Morris was here playing that. He goes down, and Brian Schmetzer has used him all over the attacking four, whether it's off the left side, the right side, as a 10, as a 9. He's kind of facilitated multiple spots. And even when Jordan Morris goes down, Brian Schmetzer has chosen to go with a guy like Danny Musovski, or even going young with a guy like Osaze de Rosario instead of a guy like Jesus Ferreira. Instead, he would actually like to use Jesus Ferreira's creativity. And I think he's kind of tapped into something where now all of a sudden, it gives the Sounders an extra look. And the interesting thing about this is, when I think about these two in abstract, the first thing is that Albert Rusnik is like 31 years old, and I wasn't for the Sounders re-signing him because of Jesus Ferreira. Me personally, I would have rather the Sounders kept, at the very least, keep the DP spot open, because you're going to be able to do something even better come summer. You put yourself in an advantage by keeping that money in reserve. Like, if you can't find a DP in the winter, okay, fine, hold that until the summer, and that allows you 6 months to scout and to find somebody that you might be able to utilize that DP spot, and it just opens up a whole bunch of different opportunities for you to fill that role. And in the meantime, you have a guy like Jesus Ferreira. Of course, the Sounders elected to do the complete opposite. And as we've seen, is Jesus Ferreira kind of grow into this role as a 10. And he's done an absolutely fantastic job. And it's going to be interesting to see exactly how this one plays out tonight. But that being said, man, Jesus Ferreira came into the season, lofty goals, man. He was trying to get on the World Cup roster. But that's not going to happen. But I like a guy that's willing to gamble on himself. So we are getting set here in Seattle. as the Sounders look forward to extending this thing to 10. And of course, if they're able to do that, man, that 3 points bumps them up 2 points behind St. Louis, San Jose. Man, all of a sudden now the Sounders are going to be in the mix now for that number 1 spot in the Western Conference. Now, do I think that they can win the Western Conference? Not without a lot of help. Not without a lot of help this summer. They're going to need another piece. But this team doesn't spend money like that. So, they're the type of team that'll just let it roll. We'll let it ride. Especially if this team is within the top 3, chasing conference winners doesn't necessarily mean a lot to the Sounders. What means a lot to them is getting into the playoffs, because they feel like the balance that they have is going to allow them to get to an MLS Cup. And of course, the proof is in concept, because they've been able to do it, time and time again. So, I don't think this team necessarily cares about the supporter shield. As sad as that is to say, I don't think this. I really, yeah. When do you think gas prices will go down? I wish I had an answer for you, Brandon. I really did. That's actually kind of funny. You actually made me kind of stop and be like, "What did you just say? What did you just ask me? When are gas prices going down?" I have no idea, man. I have no idea. Although here in Michigan, they've gone down quite a bit, actually. So, Adam646, don't ignore my questions. I'm sorry, Adam. That was actually kind of hardcore, man. What was your question, Adam? You tell me, bud. I didn't see it. Yeah, dude. Don't ignore me, sir. How dare you? It's going to be interesting, man. It didn't post. Okay, then. Let me go back, Adam. Where else are you streaming? Oh, okay. That was the question. I am streaming live on X, and I'm also on YouTube as well, too. So, yeah, man, head over to YouTube, man. Hit that subscribe button, my friend. Thoughts on De Zerbi's first few games? Well, I think we got we had 2 draws, 2 wins, so 8 points. 8 points through 4 games. Yeah, I would say that's pretty good. By the way, the Sounders have a 59.6% chance of winning today. And of course, they're playing on the grass here at Lumen Field. And there's the TIFO. As the Emerald City supporters have put a TIFO that says the game belongs to the people. And of course, if you're familiar, Seattle is a very socialist city. So they're all about government control. Anyways, in the VAR booth will be Kevin Hewitt, as we are getting set for kickoff. As again, the Sounders will be playing on grass, as Lumen Field will host a World Cup match this summer. LA will be playing from left to right, as they will be playing to the south stand. And we are off, as LA will hold possession, as this ball gets played all the way down the right-hand side, as it'll go out. So the Sounders will have the throw in here, as there's the never-aging Marco Royce. And, of course, Marco coming over from Germany. As there's the throw-in, as that'll be headed away. As there will be a whistle against Marco Royce, as 37 seconds in, as Hassani Dotson hits the ground. And Sounders will start playing. It'll be Jackson Reagan. And that gets played back to Andrew Thomas. Thomas is kind of interesting because he's 28 years old. And again, because Seattle doesn't get a lot of love, You know, he's actually playing as one of the best American keepers in Major League Soccer and has yet to get a call into the national team. It is going to be interesting to see if in the next cycle, depending on who the head coach will be, if Andrew Thomas will get a look at some point during the next cycle, as that's a great play right there, as Jesus Ferreira wins the ball back and plays it forward, except there's nobody there except for LA defenders. As this one will get played down the left side. That's a good ball forward. Moving over his Paintsel, and that boy's got speed. He saves it from going out past the end line. As LA will hold possession here. And now they will play this back. As Justin Hawk now will play it back to Glesnes. As this one will go down the right-hand side. And they're going to have to play this one back. So Seattle has done a good job, as now that there's a switch. And there's a whistle. As Snyder Brunel stepped in front of it. So Seattle will have a free kick, and Andrew Thomas is signaling for everyone to kick rocks down the field. I remember when Brad Friedel and Casey Keller were Premsters. Yeah, both of them played for Spurs at one point. And I think, if I remember correctly, Keller, I think he also played for Villa as well, too. And I think Friedel may have played for Blackburn. I can't remember. There's a ball over the top, and it finds Danny Muzowski. He's onside. Muzowski! As he was sliding down, making the shot right there, but they will say he's offside, actually. It looked like he was actually very onside. As that was a good ball over the top. Was he offside? It looked like he was onside. I guess not. Oh, Brad Guzan was at Villa. Yeah, you're right. Good call. As that ball's taken away, it's going to be Jordan Morris. Morris cuts to the inside. Here's Dotson. Lays it off. Here's Newhue. And now here's Paul Arriola, as he will play this one back. And now the Sounders will play it up the left-hand side. Here's Newhue now. You got to play one in, bro. Now you got to play it back. You waited a full second, and now the Sounders have to retreat, as now they're going to switch this across. As Jackson Reagan will receive the ball right back from Hassani Dotson. And Reagan with a good pass forward. Jordan Morris is going to play one through. Here's Muzowski. That's a good save right there. Sounders will hold this one in. Oh, LA does a good job. But the Sounders will hold it in. It's Newhue, as the Sounders are attacking quick here. Here's Paul Arriola off the left-hand side. Paul's going to play one in. And Muzowski goes down, as LA will come away with the ball. And now there's a whistle, as Muzowski comes away, and there's blood. That's my most watched Premier, Bocanegra, Friedel, Keller, McBride. Yeah. That was the era where the U.S. men's national team had a lot of their players in the Premier League, whether that be Dempsey and Bocanegra and McBride at Fulham. Yep. Guzan was at Villa. Keller. Keller was at Spurs. Yeah, I think one of those guys played for Blackburn. Or maybe I don't know why. I always thought it was Blackburn, yeah. It was called the Premiership back then, yeah. The Barclays Premiership. Yeah, Friedel, there you go, yeah. Friedel played at Blackburn, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, when Blackburn was owned by Walker. and Alan Shearer was there. That's when Blackburn was Blackburn. So Mazovsky is being tended to. As the physios are out there. And it's a shock that there was no whistle on that, because it looks like Lesnes caught him pretty good. But again, it's MLS. No, it's all good, man. You don't have to apologize for nostalgia. I like watching old Premier League games. Yeah, that 95 title chase where Blackburn won it losing at Anfield and United drawing at Upton Park. That shit was pure drama. As Musovsky is up now. It's like you wonder if he lost a tooth there, because he got bipped in the mouth pretty good. Matt Turner should never have sat on Arsenal's best. He wastes precious time. Well, one of the things that he should have done is he should have went immediately out on loan. He wasn't ready for the Premier League. And, it was the same thing. At least City did that initially with, what's his ass, who now plays in Colorado, Zach Steffen. Zach Steffen, parlayed that early start into a, move to City. But, at least City recognized that he wasn't ready for the level, and they put him out on loan. I think he actually had a couple nice loan spells too. They brought him back thinking he might have been ready, but the level might have been just too big. And so, what Turner really needed was, a couple years loan, maybe even in the championship, just to get him up to speed with the English game before thinking of that. But I thought he did okay at Forest. As that ball gets played out. So LA will have possession as Musovsky goes back to the locker room. So currently the Sounders are playing down a man, as Glesnes now will play this to the right, as that ball will go out. And I believe last touch by Seattle, they're saying. So LA will have the throw in. As Glesnes now will play it to Hawk, as they're just cycling the ball between both center backs here. As Glesnes now will push it up, chips it over. Here's Peck, plays it in, and Royce plays it over. Actually, it went wide right. There's Greg Vanney, as LA Galaxy fans certainly would like to see Vanney removed as head coach, as LA, ever since their MLS Cup a couple years back, have slowly moved their way down the table. Will Matt Turner fulfill potential? Still only 31. Yeah, I guess a little young for a goalkeeper, but he made his way back to Major League Soccer, and I think that pretty much says it. Although he is playing well this year. As LA now will try to play out of a press, as that one will go out. Seattle will have the throw in here. as Newhue will play it back to Reagan. As Lopez plays one forward, Jordan Morris does a very good job. As there is a whistle and a yellow card, as Jordan Morris will get the back of his jersey pulled right there by Hawk. So Seattle will have a free kick here. As we are pushing the 11th minute, and now checking into the ball game will be Albert Rusnik. So Musovski's night is over, and that ball will go out past the end line, as that one was looking for Kingston charging up the right-hand side. So Musovski's night is over. As a Spurs fan, do you consider Poch a nearly man? What do you mean by that? A nearly? Like nearly one? So LA will have the goal kick here, as this one will get played down the right-hand side, as Lopez will retreat. Here's Newhue. Turns. We'll play it forward. It finds Jordan Morris. Jordan's in the box. As this one gets laid off. Here's Morris. Plays it over. Ricochets off Glesnes. Chip to the back post. And there's nobody there. As Morris was looking for Jesus Ferreira. Oh, he never got over the line. Yeah. On the one hand, that's true. He never got anything over the line, but he also set points records, and, that 5 years that he was our head coach, we were playing the best we've played in such a long time. Here's another attack into the box. And now here comes LA as that ball ricochets. It's Marco Royce. Here's Peck. Off the right-hand side. Plays it in. As Gabriel Peck now will switch to the left-hand side. Here's Paintsel. 1v1 against Kingston. Cuts in, shoots. And that deflection will sail it wide past the far post. So LA will have its first corner here, as that was actually a fruitful switch right there by the Galaxy. As Paintsel cut in on Kingston, got him tripped, and looks like it was Jackson Reagan who had the deflection there. So LA will have their first corner as we are approaching the 15th minute here in the first half, as they're going to play this one short. I hate the short corners. It's such a waste of a set piece. And now LA will try to swing this around now to the left-hand side. And the Sounders now are going to press the ball here, as LA will just now hold for possession. And that's exactly what I mean. It's like you play it short. These are the things that happen. Is you've now just conceded the entire field. And there's a ball that's going to go long, and right there is Andrew Thomas. So that, just play one into the box, see what happens. You have two tall center backs. Who knows? As Kingston will play it back, and it'll be Lopez. As Snyder Burnell is under pressure here, as that one gets played back to Andrew Thomas. De Zerbi needs like 9 new players. They need a lot. As that ball will find Jesus Ferreira. And there's a ball for it, except nobody was running. As Kingston had just started his run. As Seattle did lose Danny Muzovsky very early in this one. As Kingston will head that long ball forward. But right there is Paintsville. That one gets poked away. And Seattle will come away with possession here. Seattle has been the dangerous team. Still no shots on net yet. Here's Nuhu. Down the left-hand side. Nobody was making a run. As Jackson Reagan will lay it off to Areola. Here's Nuhu. Down the left-hand side. Areola makes a run. Nuhu elects not to play it forward. That's a bad little tap back. But Seattle gets it right back. Here's Areola now. He will play it in. There's nobody there. Good deflection. And LA comes away with it. It's Gabriel Peck. As he's racing down the right-hand side. Lays it off. Here's Marco Royce. Feeds it back to Peck. As play is allowed to continue as Peck falls down. No contact right there. As Paul Areola will now swing it to the middle of the park. Here comes Albert Rusnik. He's got options. Finds Jordan Morris. Lays it off for Jesus Ferreira. Jesus, as that ball gets taken away from Jesus. And now here comes LA. It'll be Joseph Paintsville off the left-hand side. As he will slow things down. And here's Peck now on the right-hand side. Inside, that's a good 1-2, but Nuhu is right there. As that one will go out, and I think this will be a goal kick for Seattle. So it's back and forth. Let's see. United want Miles Skelly. Yeah, I don't think they're going to end up with Miles Skelly. Here's Rusnik now. And he lays it off to Areola. As they're on the left-hand side now. Here's Snyder Brunel. That's a name. Snyder. As that one will link up to Areola off the left. 1v1. Cutting to the line. And play will resume. That's good defense right there. Although, Areola got pushed to the ground. But hey. Here's Jesus Ferreira. He gets his shot blocked. As Seattle was able to get back possession high off a turnover. Ball fell to Ferreira. He decided to take a shot. As that one gets deflected. So this will be to the LA Galaxy as we are approaching the 20th minute here in the first half. Seattle versus LA. 3 versus 11 in the Western Conference. And, of course, Seattle will host the second game for the U.S. men's national team against Australia in World Cup 2026. That's going to be quite the hootenanny. And I'm actually thinking I'm thinking about going to Seattle for that one. At the very least, just being there. Here comes LA down the left-hand side. Cuts in, tries to play it forward, but that one's taken away. And, that's just a bad pass. So LA will keep it in down the right-hand side. As Nelson will play it to Paintsville. Defended by Jesus Ferreira. As Tonight, this is LA's third straight road match. They are 1-1-0 in the first two. So, you know. As Nelson will play, as Yamin. Will throw this in. So LA will have possession. You know, they should keep the grass. This is way better. This is way better than the turf. So it's Paintsel off the left. As LA just hasn't been able to find a way in. As now LA continues to back up. As Seattle puts pressure, here's Yamain. And it's Marco Royce. As they're going to play one forward. Oh, it's Gabriel Peck. And LA takes a lead. Gabriel Peck puts LA on the board 1-0. As that was a beautiful through ball from Marco Royce. LA leads 1-0. Ugh. That's Greg 1987 says, evening, sir. Looks like my prediction of getting, getting close to a 16-goal contribution before the World Cup roster drop. Just saying, yeah, maybe. I doubt it, though. That's a lot. We used to call them Fulham the USAFC. Yeah, totally. That was a hell of a through ball, and Peck just buries it past Andrew Thomas. Go short side, too. As LA will grab the 1-0 lead. As looks like the LA Riot Squad is in full force in Seattle tonight. Blah. As Seattle now will restart things now as we are approaching the 25th minute here in the first half. Good goal for LA, so Seattle has to respond now. As that's a good takeaway. Actually, it should have been a foul. Here's Yamain. Tries to move it over to the left-hand side. He does. It's Paintsel. As Paintsel will play it all the way to the right. Now that's going to get back to Glasnes. As LA took the ball away on a call that probably should have went to Seattle. And it looks like home dude stepped on Dotson's foot. As this one will make its way to Glasnes, who's going to play this one forward. As Yamain doesn't make the run after a quick touch pass. So Seattle will come away with it. Yeah, goalkeeper got to commit. As that ball forward down the left-hand side. Areola chasing. He's going to get to it. Here's Paul. Paul, you got to play one in, homie. Golly. Put one in the box for F's sake. Here's Areola. Oh, nice little pass right there. Trying to find Albert. As that ball gets taken away. Oh, there you go. Jackson Reagan does a good job. Here's Newhue now. Newhue lays it off to Albert. And Albert has to play it back. Hassani Dotson now will be in control. Hassani plays it to the left-hand side. Finds Rusnik. Here's Newhue. Here's Rusnik. Good touch pass. And what did that accomplish? What did that accomplish? The ball ended right back on Newhue's foot. Just to say you guys could. Here's Kingston now. As that ball makes its way back to the center back pairing. as Areola just tips it back to Jackson Reagan. Jesus Christ. Get forward. As Jackson Reagan, that's a good pass through. It's Hassani Dotson dribbling his way through as that ball gets cleared. And Seattle was hoping for a whistle that they didn't get. See, this is the worst part about Major League Soccer, is the refereeing is just horrible. I guess the one good thing is they let the players play. Here's Jesus Ferreira. Here's Kingston as he plays it back again. Side to side, back and forth. Sounders are getting nowhere quick. Here's Nuhu. Does Arnie Slot deserve a third season? No. He's going to get fired. Like once the fans lose a coach, it's hard to come back. Here's Ariel off the left. And there is going to be a free kick right there, right on the edge of the box as Paul Arriola goes down. Yeah, like once the fans leave you and you're a coach, they've left you for good. It's hard to win them back. And Liverpool just wasn't Liverpool this season. And, Jurgen has, Jurgen's been on the podcast circuit, and it's always asked if, if you could always go back to Liverpool, and he's always said yes. So, maybe he goes back to Liverpool for a second go round. So this will be a free kick for that team was built for Jurgen Klopp, right? So if you're going to play a high possession style of football, you're going to have to get the right players to do it. So here's Riznik. He plays one in. That's going to get headed straight up as Nuhu tries to play one on. Right there's the keeper. As this one will go all the way to the left. Headed forward by Nelson. And yeah, there's going to be a whistle. And that looks like that was against Lopez right there. Yeah, as Tommy hits the deck. So LA now will have a free kick as we're approaching the 30th minute here. Live in Seattle from the South Downtown District. They have a lot of stars on their shirt, don't they? They have 6 of them, don't they? As Marco Royce will be taking this long free kick as this one gets played in. And it'll get cleared. Held in. Nelson plays it forward. As Dotson now will play it up the right-hand side. As Jesus Ferreira will come away with it. Here's Jackson. As Seattle just doesn't really have a lot of midfield motion. They're not really doing what I thought they would do. As Snyder Brunel and Hassani Dotson haven't really done a good job of providing that link-up play through the midfield. They're actually kind of boxed in. LA has done a pretty good job of boxing those two in. As that ball now tries to get played to the left-hand side, and LA will come away with the ball. Besides Leicester, has there been a worse title defense? That's a good question. What did Blackburn do after their title win? Just out of curiosity. And by the way, it's funny. Liverpool finished fifth. I wouldn't consider that like a bad title defense. As this ball finds Paul Areola. As Seattle again will try to do something. As lately in LA's attacking end, they've just held the ball and done absolutely nothing with the ball. Except for rotate between center backs. As that one will go out, so Seattle will have a throw in here. Here's Areola, plays it forward, finds Rusnik, and Rusnik gets his back pocket pick. And that'll go out, last touch by LA. As it'll be Jackson. As Areola was trapped off the left-hand touchline, as that one gets played back yet again. As Seattle just cannot work it up that right-hand side, as Morris will be battling with Hawk. That one goes out, and they're going to say that was last touch by Seattle. Clearly, Justin Hawk kicked that one out of bounds, but apparently it's a goal kick. Huh. All right. Oh, they're gonna say offside. All right. As Glesnes now will play it off to Yaman. Ya boy. As Nuhu comes away with this, so Seattle will hold possession. Down 1-0 off a very good goal by Gabriel Peck. As LA does lead 1-0 here, as we are coming down towards the end of the first half. I don't know about that. Like if they finish 12th, yeah, I might agree with that. But they finished in a Champions League spot. As Seattle trying to attack here. Here's Albert Rusnik forward to Areola. Here's Albert again. Plays it forward. Why didn't you just run forward, Paul? That was a through ball for you to actually play it forward. Jesus Christ. Why would you cut and play it back? Here's Kingston trying to get around the corner. That's good defense right there by Nilsson. So it'll be a throw-in. As Seattle has the throw-in here. As there's the long throw. As that comes down, and now that ball gets cleared. As Andrew Thomas will come out. There's a chip over. And that'll get out for a Seattle throw-in. As that's a whistle. As Marco Royce will get called for the foul against Jackson Reagan. So Seattle will have the free kick here as play resumes. As that gets played back to Andrew Thomas. Here's Newhue as Seattle hasn't really, I actually don't think they've really taken a shot here in the first half. As there's the switch to the left-hand side, that goes way out of bounds. As that missed Paul Arriola by a good 15 feet. That's true. Bournemouth can finish fifth. The MLS game, All-Star game, is in Charlotte this season. If you want to watch, here we go. Here's Arriola now. Cutting in. Shoots, and that's a good save right there. By Marcinkowski. As LA now will have possession. As we were in the 37th minute here in the first half, as we're getting close to the end. LA leads by 1. As that's a good kick out here to Yaman. Ya boy! Here's Marco Royce. As Royce plays it back to Marcinkowski. And now they play it up the left-hand side. It'll find Nelson. Here's Paintsel. 1v1 against Kingston. And he'll turn around and just play it back. I hate the way soccer's played now. And that ball gets chipped forward. And Seattle comes away with it. Just get it up the pitch. That's a ball that went absolutely nowhere as Nelson retrieves it. I'm curious to see what England does this year. I think we've been waiting for 5 years for England to win something. As LA comes down with it. Here's Gabriel Peck. I'm curious to see what the Netherlands do, too. I've always been a fan of the Dutch. Back in the days of Wesley Sneijder, Arjen Robben, Robin Van Persie. That was a good team. As LA plays it forward. As Newhue comes away with this one. Plays it back to Andrew Thomas. Nico is out for Spain. That's a blow. Although Spain's going to be able to be fine. I'm not worried about Spain. They go 3 deep at every position. As here's Kingston. As Kingston's going to play this one forward. That's going to get headed down, and LA will come away with it. So Seattle is having trouble on the attacking side. As here's Paintsel now. As now it's Marco Polo. As Justin Hawk will play one in. Good passing right here by LA. Now this one will go out to the left-hand side. Paintsel's now on the inside. As now he comes back out to hold that left-hand side. There's a ball, and it's going to take a deflection. But LA holds possession. Here's Tommy. Plays one in. That's a good deflection. But LA will come down with it as Yaman will control it. As Glesnes takes a rip, and that one goes 30 rows up. As we have now approached the 40th minute now. Actually, we're in the 41st minute. Don't bring up Robin Van Persie. What, too many horror stories? That's a good ball forward. As Rusnik gets dragged down. Yeah, they're going to call a whistle right there, 100%. Here's Kingston. Chips it forward. That's going to get played back, but Seattle will hold possession as they just can't get anything going. As LA's defense has actually been quite good here in the first half. He was always injured and he betrayed Wenger. I hate Arsene Wenger. I could care less if he betrayed Arsene. He goes around the world saying la 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 la. As that ball gets played forward, Nihu will head it forward. Seattle will come away with it, kinda. As that ref says play on, so here's LA. That's a good ball down the left-hand side. Paintsel will catch up to it. Marked by Kingston. As Paintsel try to play one, that's going to take a deflection. But LA comes away with it. Here's Peck. Now it's your boy. And he will play it back to Glasnes. As Seattle's attack has pretty much been non-existent here in this first half. As that gets played back to Marcinkowski. That sounds like a Polish name if I've ever heard one. So Seattle will come away with it now. As we are 2 minutes away from the first half. What's your beef with Wenger? I've never liked Arsenal, ever. I actually hated Arsenal, still do. As Seattle looking for some breathing room on the attacking side. And that's a giveaway right there. And there's going to be, that's going to be not only a whistle, but a yellow card for Kingston. That's actually kind of a good foul to take right there. Had he not, LA was going to break. It was just a bad pass by Kingston as he comes in and just takes him out. Arteta, yeah, him too. By the way, any head coach that you name that previously coached at Arsenal, yeah, you can add them to the list too. I just never liked Arsenal. Hated Highbury. Hated David Seaman. Although I actually am kind of partial to Merson. I do like Paul Merson. That's it. Yeah, I know. And George Graham never should have coached Spurs. As that was nearly taken away, but here comes LA. Here's Joseph Paintsel. As that one will go wide. So as we are now approaching the 45th, and I'm sure it's only going to be about a minute, maybe two of extra time here before we get to halftime. Here's Areola. Here's Jesus Ferrer in the box. Tries to cross it. Will regain possession. Sounders come away with it. Here's Dotson. Now it's Newhill. And Areola just tries to play it through Yaman's legs, but no dice. So here comes LA, and it's actually going to be 5 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Here's Marco. Here's Paintsel. Marco on the overlap. Kingston steps into it. Gets a foot on it, but LA will hold. 4 minutes now coming to the end of the first half. As that ball will go forward, and it hits actually Yaman. Here's Gabriel Peck as he comes away with the ball. As LA now will shift it to the left-hand side. Here's Paintsel. As we're approaching the 47th now. Here's Gabrielle. As LA has actually turned around and held the bulk of the possession here in the first half. And Seattle will actually have possession. All right, why would I mute you, bud? I don't care if you're an Arsenal fan. You're not going to win the Champions League or anything. As that ball's going to go forward and it's immediately going to be cleared right back out. Seattle just cannot get anything going here as it'll find Paul Arriola. And Arriola will earn a free kick as Yaman will get the yellow card. So Seattle, we have a 50-50 chance. That's true, but you're not going to win it, though. As Arriola wins the foul and the free kick here. As Yaman stepped over. And for his efforts, gets the yellow. So Seattle has an opportunity here to level things out right here before the first half. As it'll be Jesus Ferreira and Albert Rusnik standing over this one. It'll probably be Albert. Here we go. Ooh. As Kingston puts one into the luxury boxes. That was just an absolute terrible free kick right there. As we are approaching the end of the first half here. An unstoppable force is about to meet an immovable object. As Marcinkowski to boot this one long. Headed forward. As we are about 10 seconds away, as that one will go into the stands here. As the 5 minutes are up, and there's the whistle. And that is your first half. Let's see. Hello from St. Louis. What did I draw? Another night of my MLS addiction. Well, it's good to see you, Angus. Let's see. They're going to let Jackson have the... Yeah. It's true. They're going to let Jackson have the ball the whole game. Yes, I do. I think Austin Trusty definitely makes the World Cup roster. I think Jedi to Man United after this World Cup is possible. Yeah, I think so too. I do too. It would be earned. But that being said, you know, one of the things about Jedi is that he's going to have a hell of a World Cup, right? This season has been up and down because obviously he had the knee injury. He was out for quite some time. And it's been kind of touch and go the rest of the season, but he still is one of the best. Let's take a look at the halftime stats for this one. And of course, LA leads 1-0 as Gabriel Peck scored in the 23rd minute. Seattle does lead the possession battle, 53-47, but of course Seattle hasn't done anything with that possession. XG Seattle 0.20 to LA's 0.81. Total shots, LA 6, Seattle 4. Shots on target, Seattle 2, LA 1. Big chances, both have 1. Seattle missed theirs. Accurate passes, 265 for Seattle to 228. Yellow cards, LA 2, Seattle 1. Corners, 1-0 LA. And that is a big number because Seattle just hasn't done anything to win any corners and haven't necessarily even been really that attacking threat, putting shots, getting deflections, making Marcinkowski work. It's been terrible, to be honest with you. Let's see. XG from open play, Seattle 0.12, LA 0.81. XG from set play, Seattle 0.007 and LA 0.00. Let's see. Shots, when you look at block shots, LA has 2, Seattle has 1. Nobody's hit the woodwork. Shots inside the box, LA 5, Seattle 1. Shots outside the box, 3-1 Seattle. Total passes, Seattle 300, LA 263. Passes in the own half, Seattle 112, LA 101. Passes in the opposition half, Seattle 153 to 127. Accurate long balls, LA 14, Seattle 9. Both teams have 1 accurate cross. Throws, Seattle 7, LA 6. Touches in the opposition box, Seattle 10, LA 9. Seattle has been offsides twice to LA's 1. Disciplines, 2 yellow cards for LA, 1 for Seattle. And LA has committed 8 fouls to Seattle's 2. On the defensive side of the ball, both teams have 5 tackles. LA has 6 interceptions to Seattle's 5. Seattle has 2 blocks to LA's 1. Clearances, LA 12, Seattle 4. Keeper saves, Marin Karic has made 2. Although they weren't really crazy saves. Seattle leads the dual battle 18-10. Ground duels, Seattle 15, LA 8. Aerial duels 3-2 Seattle, and successful dribbles 2-1 to Seattle. And really, this first half has been all LA, I guess. I mean, when you're, when it comes to possession, you actually have to do something with it. And unfortunately, Seattle just isn't getting forward enough. Seattle isn't being creative enough. Balls played forward or under hit, or, runs are stopped short for some reason. And, from that standpoint, Seattle isn't playing the type of football that they are known for. And unfortunately, I guess maybe that, the injury early in that first half to Musovski kind of threw a wrench into everything. But that being said, it's like, you still have, Jordan Morris out there. You still have, Jesus Ferreira. So maybe the thing to do is, to move Morris up top and bring Paul Rothrock in to play off the right-hand side in that second half. I actually wouldn't mind to see Christian Roldan come in at the half as well, too. Something is going to have to, you're going to have to figure something out in that midfield. Seattle's going to have to play through it a lot more. They're going to have to take risks. There has to be a link up because as of right now, it is really just Jackson Reagan spraying the ball to both sides. And, Seattle's not getting any type of connection play up the right-hand side. They are force-feeding it down the left-hand side. LA has kind of shifted and overloaded, understanding exactly where that ball is going to go. Seattle is very one-dimensional right now. And so I would like to see Seattle adjust a little bit in that second half. But that being said, if LA gets one more, this thing is over. And, Seattle has allowed LA to break on the counter in multiple instances in that first half. They're lucky that they were able to come away with that one. I am just waiting for Joseph Paintsel to cut in on Kingston down that left-hand side and just make him pay. Like, I feel like it's coming. So Hopefully that's not the case, but, I wouldn't be surprised. Let's go ahead and take a look around Major League Soccer. Let's see. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. All right. Chicago beat Montreal 2-0 today as Philip Zickernagel scored in the 13th minute, and my guy Hugo Kuiper scored in the 66th minute as Chicago takes all three off Montreal today up north. In the New York Derby, this one finished 1-1 as Jorge Rubalcaba scored in the 43rd minute for the Nye Red Bulls, and NYCFC got their goal in the 51st minute from Andreas Pereira, as that one finished 1-1. Orlando City and Atlanta United played to a 1-1 draw as Griffin Dorsey scored in the 17th minute for Orlando, and Johnny Fortune scored in the 85th minute for Atlanta United, as that one played to a draw. Charlotte beat Toronto today 3-1 as Wilfred Zaha scored in the 18th minute, David Schnegg in the 34th, and Pep Beal on an 83rd minute penalty, as Derek Etienne Jr. scored in the 21st minute for Toronto. So Charlotte takes 3 points there. The New England Revolution beat Minnesota today 2-1 as Charles Hill scored on a 4-minute penalty, and Luca Langoni scored in the 48th minute for New England, as Kevin Yeboah scored in the 25th minute off a penalty. So the New England Revolution continuing to play good football there. DC United played to a 1-1 draw to the lowly to St. Louis City. Lowly DC United. João Peglo scored in the 89th minute for DC United. And Chris Durkin scored in the 49th minute for St. Louis, but St. Louis did get a red card late as Conrad Wellham took one in the 90+2 for St. Louis City, but that one finishes at a 1-1 draw. Philadelphia and Columbus played to a 1-1 draw as Milan Ilowski scored in the 69th minute, and Hugo Picard scored for Columbus in the 9th minute. So, damn, a lot of 1-1 draws today. Right now in the 85th minute, Sporting KC is beating Austin as Manu Garcia scored in the 78th minute, and Stefan Afifra scored in the 81st minute, and Austin got one from Mikel Dessler in the 45th. So Sporting is hanging on right now. And currently in the 68th minute, Houston and Vancouver are tied 0-0 as Yohei Takaoka, their goalkeeper, took a red card in the 63rd minute. So they're playing one man down. Let's see. In the 42nd minute, Colorado and Real Salt Lake are knotted at 1 as Xavier Gozo scored in the 35th minute and Wayne Frederick scored in the 5th minute for Colorado. San Diego and Cincinnati are tied 1-1 as Marcus Nvartsen scored in the 31st minute for San Diego, and Kenji Mbama Dem scored in the 10th minute for Cincinnati. So that one is at 1-1. And later tonight, San Jose will host FC Dallas, and tomorrow Inter Miami will host Portland, and Nashville will host LAFC. So that is your look around Major League Soccer, and of course the tables. In the Eastern Conference, Nashville holds a 2-point lead over the New England Revolution and Inter Miami, who are sitting in second and third. Chicago is 4 points back at 23 points, and then you have both New York teams sitting on 19 points. Charlotte's in 7th place on 18 points, and DC United and Cincinnati are sitting on 17 points. That rounds out your playoff picture. 3 points back is Orlando City and Toronto, and then it's Montreal and Columbus on 13 points. Atlanta is on 11 points, and the Philadelphia Union are sitting on 7. In the Western Conference, Vancouver holds a 1-point lead over San Jose, and there is Seattle on 24 points, 1 point ahead of Real Salt Lake. Then LAFC and Minnesota are on 21 points. And then you have Houston, FC Dallas, and the Galaxy, if things hold out, would be on 19 points. And then Colorado and San Diego on 17 points. And that is your Western Conference. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how this thing plays out in the second half. LA, if they manage to get another goal, this thing is over. I just, from the way that Seattle has, tried to build up, nothing has come, nothing has come from it. There is zero creativity in the way that they get that ball forward. So certainly things are going to have to change at the half if Seattle is going to want to get at least even come away with a result tonight. So, here's the interesting thing about Brian Schmetzer. He doesn't panic. He is a very patient guy. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get necessarily too low. If anything, he might be a little over patient. So I probably would assume that we're not going to see any changes at the half. But that being said, he's not gonna let this thing drag out. He's gonna give it 10 minutes, and if nothing has come from it, then yeah, we'll probably start to see some changes. But from that standpoint, bringing in Paul Rothrock to start the second half would probably do this attack a world of good, because then all of a sudden you open up that right side, and that's just something that we haven't seen in this first half. It literally has been one-dimensional for Seattle down that left-hand side. And one of the things that you're not going to be able to do is, win these type of games when you're essentially telegraphing your attack to your opponent. And so from that standpoint, right now, there's just nothing going on that right-hand side. And, you would take your chances with a guy like Jordan Morris as a primary 9. So, I'd like to see Paul come in and give this 45 minutes a good go. Who knows? Maybe Seattle can get 2 and come away with the 3 here. So we'll see. We'll see. But that being said, I mean, if you're LA, you have to enjoy that first half. If you're Greg Vanney, you have to appreciate what you've seen. Taking that 1-0 lead and nearly getting that second right there before the half. So we'll see as we are getting set here for the second half. And there's my hometown, Seattle. As good look at Climate Pledge right there. You're home to the Seattle Supersonics when they do come back. And they will come back. For all you NBA fans out there, I am 100% convinced that they're coming back. But with the new millionaires tax, who knows? As it looks like the Emerald City supporters are doing a very good job. So Seattle will be attacking their south stand now, as they're going to be playing towards their supporters group, as LA will play to the north stand. As we're getting set now for the start of the second half. And coming in now will be Koza Rienzi, as it looks like he's going to be checking in now for Kingston. So, yeah, that is at least a decent way to start the second half, at least getting a little bit more solid, because Kingston was getting eaten up pretty good against Joseph Paintsville right there. So we'll see. And also, Rienzi actually adds a little something down that right-hand side when it comes to the attack. So we'll see exactly how that looks, as Seattle will hold possession to start the second half, as Gabriel Peck pulls up his socks. Shit, man, that dude pulled it up all the way to his groin, for Christ's sake. As we're going to be underway in just 1 second here. And we are now off here in the second half, as Seattle will hold possession. Here's Rienzi. And now it's Jackson. Action! And Lopez now will play it down to Koza. And now Seattle will play it between their center backs. Not a bad halftime switch here for Schmetzer, stabilizing things on that back line. As there's a chip down the left-hand side, it will find Paul Arriola. And Arriola will play one in. As that'll get out. And they're going to say it. All right, so Seattle will get their first corner. There you go, because they were originally saying that was off of Morris. No, it actually went off. Looks like that might have been Justin Hawk right there. So Seattle will have their first corner now. And it'll be Jesus Ferreira as he swings one in. That's a header. Oh. As it did go off Arriola right there. But it goes wide of the post. Actually, well wide of the post. As we see it again. As that was headed forward. Yeah, and Arriola was just turned around. Terrible. So this will be a goal kick for LA as Marcinkowski will play it long for LA. Have you guys ever had tacos in LA? They're amazing. You've never had tacos until you've had tacos in LA. Here's Rienze. As Rienze is going to dribble forward. And it'll be Snyder Brunel. I can't get over that name, Snyder Brunel. Sounds like a trust fund baby. Here's Rusnik now. Finds Hassani Dotson. Plays it over to Lopez. Rienzi. Oh. As Rienzi took a heavy touch right there as that goes out. And now Jesus Ferreira's down. You've never been on a hike until you had a hike in LA. Oh my God, it's so cold here. I wish we were in LA. Oh, it gets cold in LA. It's just a different kind of cold. I cracked myself up. As yeah, that one looks like, I don't know, man. It actually kind of felt like it was last touch by Glasnes. But regardless, this will be a goal kick for LA. As this one gets played down the right-hand side as Jesus Ferreira is up, and yeah, there's going to be a whistle for a high boot right there. So LA will have the free kick here. Barstool Big Cat. LA has possession. As this one gets played back to Marcinkowski. And that one's going to get played down the right-hand side. Coming in is Jackson Reagan. He should have trapped that ball and played it on his foot. There's a deflection. And that's in the box here. That's going to get played out. I think this might be a corner for Seattle, though. And it will be. So all of a sudden, Seattle now has their second corner here in the second half. As Rusnik will play this one in. And Marcinkowski does a really good job of coming out now. And he will play this long. As Kozariensi will play it back to Andrew Thomas. And Seattle resets. Here's Jackson Reagan. And Reagan will play this long. As that one will get out of play. As Koza Rienzi was held up. As that one will get played in. Here's Koza. As Lopez tries to chip it up. Just a little too far forward there for Jesus Ferreira. Good idea right there. Here's Nelson. As he's going to play one forward. As Paintsel will come down with it. Now there's the switch. As that comes down to Yaman. Yaman. As he plays it back to Glasnes. As that one gets tipped out. So it'll be an LA throw-in. As we are approaching the 52nd minute now. As that ball gets thrown in. As that one will come down to Jackson Reagan, and Seattle will come down with possession. Here's Koza Rienzi. He's going to play one forward. And there's Marcinkowski. As he was trying to play Jesus Ferrer onto the ball. As currently LA holds a 54% chance of winning. Seattle 20.3. And a draw currently is 29.3. So all you betting freaks out there, call your local bookie. As LA comes away with that one. Here's Winder now. Lays it off for Paintsel off the left-hand side. Nice play by Koza Rienzi. That's going to get out, though. As LA will have to throw in. As that one will go out. So Seattle will have the throw in after that. After LA's throw in resulted with nothing. As Andrew Thomas will come out. Oh, good pressure by Marco Royce, as that one nearly went in Seattle's net. And Lopez has to play it out now because he was pressured. As Koza Rienzi played it back to Andrew Thomas. And Marco Royce with a lot of hustle right there. Nearly puts LA up by 2. Here's Yaman off the right-hand side as LA will control possession deep in Seattle's end. As Winder will play it back. As LA will play it back to Marcinkowski as they surrender the entire pitch as he plays one long. As Koza Rienzi plays it back to Andrew Thomas. And Seattle now will hold possession. Here's Arriola. As he plays one in. Drop to Jesus Ferreira. Tip forward. There's a shot. Ooh, and that goes wide from Albert Rusnik. And now Paintsel and Ferreira have words with each other. And that was a good ball in. As Rusnik tried to chip it into the far post, but missed it by a good 5 feet. As that was Seattle's best look of the second half as it comes 10 minutes after the start. As we're now in the 56th. As that ball will get out of play off the goal kick, so Seattle will have the throw in. Here's Lopez. As LA is doing a really good job of pressuring the ball. That one gets played back to Thomas, who has to play it long. Jordan Morris is chasing Nelson, and Morris will come away with it. Here's Dotson. Plays it over to Newhue. Here's Arriola. Now it's Dotson. And he plays it back. As Rienzi lays it back. There's a chip forward. Here's Jordan Morris. And that'll go out of play as Seattle just can't do anything now. If you have 10 grand available, you can book your hospitality packages for this upcoming World Cup. It's a steal, man. 10 grand? Chump change. As, oh, that's a nice, oh, that was a nice play right there by Ferreira, but LA stepped right in front of it. And now Seattle will come away with the ball after that scrum. Here's Jackson, who will probably be at the All-Star game this year. And now Lopez plays it off to the right-hand side. Here's Koza Rienzi as he's locked down by Paintsel. Here's Lopez. And that's taken away by Marco. That was easy. And now Jackson takes it away by stepping in the passing lane. Here's Koza Rienzi. Plays it in. Here's Ferreira. Chip to the back post. Oh! And Marcinkowski with a huge save on Paul Arriola as that ball was chipped to the back post, and it did find Arriola. But Marcinkowski was right there. And that was Seattle's. Oh, that was a good chance for Seattle. So this will be a corner for Seattle. As they've been knocking on the door. There's a ball in. As Yaman will head it away. But Seattle will hold it back in. As Newhue will play it off, and it's going to be Albert. He's going to chip this sucker in as Yaman. Oh, and now here comes LA. It'll be Tommy now. Racing up the left-hand side, cuts in, gets past Arriola. Here's Gabriel Peck. Plays forward. Oh, and Marco Royce hits the side of the net. As Andrew Thomas was beat. LA nearly doubled up off the counterattack. Seattle looked like they were going to hold it in, but LA was off to the races, and Tommy cuts inside and beats Paul Arriola. Lays it over to Peck. Plays it forward. Roos beat Thomas and then just puts it into the side net. Seattle is fortunate, as now Jesus Ferreira and Paul Arriola will come off. And it looks like there'll be another switch as well, as Paul Rothrock comes on now. As Christian Roldan will come on and take the captain's armband. So Seattle has made the switch. Yeah, not shocking. As now here comes Seattle now at the left-hand side. It's Nuhu. Lays it off. Here's Paulie. Paulie Walnuts. And Osazi will come on for Jesus Ferreira. So Roldan will replace Lopez in that back three for Seattle. As Rothrock will lay one. Here's Snyder. Plays it in. Oh, and that'll get out past the end line, as it wasn't really that great of a pass, as Joseph Paintsel takes away the angle, as that one was looking for Kozarienzi. As we are pushing the 62nd minute now. Here in the second half, 30 minutes left. As Seattle is looking to at least get an equalizer here. As here's Gabriel. And there's a chip to the right. Oh, and look at Winder catching up to that one. Here's your boy. That's a good ball forward. It's Gabriel. Here's Yaman. And now it's Marco Royce, and he'll play it back. As Klasness will play it across to Hawk. And now down to Nelson off the left-hand side. He's going to try to cut in. And you have to play this one back. As Seattle's now pressing the ball. And now LA is just weaving their way through. Here's Joseph Paintsel now. Here's the... Oh, off the post. Oh, LA nearly doubled up on a back heel flip. It hits the post. As Gabriel Peck nearly scored another. As they laid this off to Paintsel. Paintsel hit the overlap, which was Tommy. As Tommy actually found Paintsel. And Paintsel just puts a back heel. And it hits the post, as Andrew Thomas was fortunate. Oh. So LA now will make some switches. Looks like they're going to make a three-sided switch here. It looks like Cuevas is coming on, as Marco Royce will come off. As Miller will come on for LA. As LA will have the throw in here. As it looks like LA will come away with it. As that was just a bad pass right there by Paintsel, as that one will get out. So Seattle will have the throw in here. As we are coming up on the 65th minute now, 25 minutes will remain. As here's Roldan. So it'll be Sanabria, Miller, and Cuevas coming in for LA. And there's a chip forward, and that's just too far for Kozarienzi. As Seattle is completely stepping on their dicks right now on the attacking side. Is Seattle winning? No, they're not. As LA has kind of found a second gear now over the last 5-ish minutes. As there's a chip forward, and it'll find Paintsel now. As that's a good deflection by Christian Roldan. As Andrew Thomas will come out to get this one. Here's Koza Rienzi as he lays it back to Christian Roldan. Roldan probably will see his way into the World Cup roster for the U.S. And there's a chip forward looking for Ozazi, as Ozazi will get it. Here's Rienzi. And it wouldn't be a surprise if Christian made it. The way that Pochettino describes him, I would find it hard pressing that Christian Roldan is left off the World Cup roster, but he hasn't necessarily had his best season. But here's Roldan here. Roldan tries to cross one in. That's going to take a deflection. And now LA will break. And there's Andrew Thomas to play it all the way back. So now LA will hold possession. And Paulie Walnuts will play this one out of bounds. You know, Pochettino describes him as the perfect player. And if that's not like a vote of confidence, I don't necessarily know what is. And of course, you know, he's not necessarily describing him for his goal scoring prowess. It's the little things that he does. It's the intangibles. That's a good ball forward. Here's Rothrock now down the left-hand side. And he just plays one right into Glasnes. And that kills whatever Seattle attack that they had. As that ball gets played to the left-hand side, here's Paintsel now. As LA now will slow things down as they're going to try to allow others to catch up here. And now it's Nelson who will play it back. As we are now in the 68th minute, approaching 20 minutes left in this match. As Paintsel. And there's a whistle. They're going to say it's offside. So Seattle will get possession back. As it's Hassani Dotson from Federal Way, Washington. As he went to Todd Beamer High School in my hometown of Federal Way. Of course, I went to a Todd Beamer rival. As Newhue will play it back to Jackson Reagan. Here's Christian Roldan. Snyder Brunel plays it back to Roldan. Hassani Dotson. There's a shot, and that goes wide. As Seattle is just throwing darts at dartboards, as Ozazi had some space, tried to play one, and he just missed the target by, I don't know, a good 10 feet. As LA now will play it out of the back. And there's a ball over the top as Jackson will head it back down to Christian, who puts one up in the air. As Glasnes will head it forward, and Seattle now will hold possession off the left-hand side. Here's Albert. Here's Dotson. Good ball forward. Here's Zazie. As that takes a deflection, and now here comes LA. It's Gabriel Peck off to the races now. As Gabriel tries to play one forward for Paintsel, but there's Christian Roldan to clear it. LA holds it, and it's Paintsel. As Gabriel Peck will play it back. As we're now in the 70th minute. 20 minutes remain. As LA is looking to double up here. And take care of Seattle on their home turf, a place where not a lot of teams come here and win. As Nihu will head forward. That one will get out. So LA will have the throw in here. Historically, Seattle has done incredibly well at home. One of the best home teams in Major League Soccer. LA does have a little bit of history of coming here and getting wins. As here comes Seattle now. As Klasness, that's a good challenge right there. As LA will come away with the ball. Seattle just cannot get forward. And now here comes Nelson. He's got the left side wide open. As he thought about playing it to Miller. As Adam 646 AD is now back in the TikTok chat. Good to see you, Adam. Yeah, still 1-0. As that's a deflection. It's going to come down to Seattle. And there's a chip forward. It finds Kozarienzi. And that's immediately taken away by Hawk. And last played off by Kozarienzi. So LA will have the throw in. Oh. Seattle just cannot get anything going in their attacking end. Credit to LA, man. Credit to LA. They've done a very good job. As Seattle just has not been able to break down this LA back line, as that's taken away. And it's tried to clear as Jackson Reagan will come up with it. And Nihu. And there's going to be a foul against Nihu. And that'll go against Cirillo. So this will be a free kick for Seattle in a pretty dangerous spot here. Actually, that's actually going to be against Winder. So let's see what Seattle can do with their free kick here. As we're in the 73rd minute. Seattle has the softest fans in Major League Soccer. I don't care what anybody says. It's embarrassing. So this will be Albert Rusnik now. As this ball will go in. Ooh, good save by Marcinkowski. There's a chip forward. Headed out. And here comes LA. And oh boy, here we go. Paintsel's on a run, and there's Andrew Thomas. Here comes Albert. That was a good free kick. He put one on as Marcinkowski made a good save on that free kick. Am I more Spurs or Sounders? I'm both. I love both clubs equally. Sounders are my hometown team. Spurs are just my I've liked Spurs for 25 years now. As this will make its way down to JMO. As JMO now will take a run to the inside. As this gets tipped out of bounds. So LA will have to throw in. Do I miss the Supersonics? Yeah, I do. I do. As basketball has kind of returned a little bit to normalcy. I've been watching a little bit of the playoffs, and yeah, it's not bad. So Sounders will make another switch. It looks like Gomez is coming in. As Snyder Brunel will come off. And I think that's going to be it for Seattle substitutions. And here comes Nuhu Tolo as he gives way for Hassani Dotson. Here's Christian Roldan. As that gets played back and Roldan has to chase. As we are now in the 75th minute. 15 minutes remain for the Sounders now. As they are looking for the equalizer. As that's a ball forward. As it hits Koza Rienzi, and Rienzi just kicks it right into Justin Hawk. But Rienzi almost won it back. And Seattle does win it back. Here's Dotson. And Hawk steps right in front of it. As Ozazi. That's a good play by Ozazi. That's a good hustle play. Seattle comes away with the throw in here. Here's Rusnik, and he'll play it off to the left-hand side. It'll go to Nuhu. Here's Gomez. Here's Albert Rusnik. Plays it off to Koza Rienzi. Here's Christian Roldan. Roldan's going to play one in. Glasnes heads it up. As that comes down to Joseph Paintsel. That's taken away. And Painsel's going to get whistled for a foul. Oh, yeah. The Seahawks did win the Super Bowl. Yeah, they sure did. As here's Christian Roldan. He's going to try to play one in again. That's going to take a deflection. That was the only football game I watched of the entire year. I actually had no idea the Seahawks were in first place until like the last week of the season. Let's see if Seattle can get in a good position here. As this one makes its way to the left-hand side, here is Paulie Walnuts. Plays one in, and that's going to be headed away. But it'll find Christian Roldan. And Roldan's ball into the box gets headed away. As LA has done a very good job defensively tonight. As we are now in the 78th minute, 12 minutes remain. Yeah, I as the years go by, I just don't care about the NFL anymore. As Koza Rienzi plays one in, Gomez does a good job. But ultimately, LA comes away with it. As Paintsel plays one forward, there's just nobody there. So Seattle comes away with it now. As they've held the ball in LA's end for a good 15 minutes and have done nothing. Here's Dotson. As Reagan has to go back to retrieve it, but he does. As we'll see what Seattle can do here. Here's Rusnik. As he cuts in. Lays it off. Here's looks like that was Paul Rothrock. And Andrew Thomas will play it long. And Marcinkowski will just retrieve this one. Feels scripted lately. Yeah, a little bit. I don't know, man. I don't like I don't know, man. Football, once they stripped defense out of the game, it became boring to me. It became a quarterback league, and it was geared toward the fantasy footballers. Don't get me wrong, it was a stroke of brilliance by the NFL to get casuals into, to turn casuals into diehards. As Glasnes will play this one down the left-hand side, finds Miller. As Nelson now is being hounded by Jordan Morris, but LA will hold on to it. 10 minutes remain now as we're in the 80th minute. as Cirillo has to play it back. Here's Miller as he tried to play that one down the right-hand side, but right there is Nuhu. As they play it up to Paul Rothrock. And it's now Hassani Dotson. Here's Christian Roldan. Here's Rienzi. As LA has done a fantastic job on this right-hand side. As there's a ball. And that'll get out. So this will be a corner for Seattle. As Paul Rothrock will take it. Can Seattle find it? Find the equalizer with 9 minutes to play. As Albert Rusnik now will take this corner. As Sanabria is marking Ozazi de Rosario. Here we go. As that will get headed to the top net. As Dotson saying that went off an LA defender. And it looks like he might be right. And it looks like Joseph Paintsil is coming out of the game now with 8 minutes to play. As Nascimento will come in for LA. As this will be a goal kick. As this gets headed forward by Roldan. As that'll come away sounder possession. Here's Gomez now. He's got room. And he gets tripped up, but there's no call. As that'll get out of bounds. So Seattle will have the throw in. That was actually kind of ugly. As here's Christian Roldan. Kozarienzi. As that ball gets chipped forward, but that gets played out of play. So this will be a sounder throw-in. Deep in LA territory. 83rd minute now. As Rienzi will play it off to Roldan. In the box, here's Gomez. As last touch by Nelson. This will be a corner for Seattle. As they've been attacking with a sense of urgency now for a good 20 minutes, but it feels like it's going to be a little too late. As that one will come down. Here's Gomez now. Tries to shoot, and that's going to go way wide. Bruno, right choice for FWA Player of the Year. What, Bruno Fernandes? As we're now approaching the 85th minute, as this ball will go long off the goal kick. Headed forward. As Miller beats Gomez to the ball. As that ball will go forward. Taken away by LA. As Roldan Tries to get it forward, but LA will hold it in. As this ball gets played to the right, that's going to be taken away by Nuhu. Here's Rothrock. And there's a whistle. As Cuevas. Was that the right choice? Yeah, I guess. Bruno actually had a pretty good year, especially in the second half when Carrick took over. So this will be a free kick. 86 minute, 4 minutes remain. As this ball will get swung in, headed way up. And Marcinkowski tries to punch it away, and he does, and LA clears as Andrew Thomas is out. And Seattle will again try to play. We'll try to play with a sense of urgency here. As Roldan will chip it to the left side, finds Paulie Walnuts, and he plays one in. Nearly found Ozazi. And so they'll try it again. Here's Roldan. Yeah, I hear you. It was a pretty good second half of the year for United. As Osazi does a good job here. Hassani Dotson tries to play one on, and that one goes 15 rows up. As Seattle is just heaving in desperation. As we're approaching the 88th minute now. As Marcinkowski boots this one. As Ozazi chips it down, but ultimately it finds Kozarienzi, plays it off to Gomez. Here's Albert, plays it forward. It's Ozazi. Off to the left. Here comes Paulie Walnuts now. Chips it, back post. Jordan Morris. And Marcinkowski is there. Yeah, I can understand why you say that, though. As Paulie Walnuts actually picked out Jordan. He just didn't get a good head on it. As LA. And that'll go the other way. As Marcinkowski will get a yellow card. As we are approaching the 89th minute now. As LA is going to win this thing. As that's taken away from Gomez. But LA can't control it. So Seattle will come away with it. We are 1 minute away from the 90th. Here's Jackson Reagan. Christian Roldan down to Kozarienzi. Cuts to the middle. Lays it off to Gomez, and there's just nobody there. As that'll get out of bounds, and that'll be an LA throw-in. Yeah, there's still the PFA. You're right about that. As this one gets thrown in. Headed forward and cleared. So 5 minutes of added time. As Seattle's looking for the equalizer, there's a ball forward. As there's Marcinkowski. as he plays this one long. As Niuhu will come back. Ugh. This has been bad. Credit to LA, though. Their defense has actually been very good today. As Seattle just... As Gabriel Peck steps in front of this. Here's Peck in the box. Beats his man. And LA doubles up. And it's Nascimento. And there it is. As LA just hit the... just buried the dagger right there in the back. As Seattle... couldn't control it, as Jackson Reagan couldn't get to it. As Gabriel Peck just turns on the burners, beats Dotson, and just feeds Nascimento, and that's it. It was just a very good counterattack right there. As Seattle got sloppy. What are you going to do? As play resumes. As this thing is OVER in Seattle. As that one's taken away by Miller. That's just that was nearly sloppy right there by Roldan. As Thomas plays it long. As that one will get out. Seattle has the throw-in. As Rienzi tried to play one forward, that's going to be deflected out by Nelson. So, yeah, LA has just done everything right today. Even in the second half, and Seattle tried to get forward, playing with a sense of urgency. They just... that back four just remained rock solid, stayed organized. Seattle couldn't break it down. And LA gets their 2 goals off the counter. And Gabriel Peck finishes with a goal and assist tonight. Semenyo's had a great year. No doubt about it. That one gets played out. As it looks like fans are starting to empty out now. As we are a minute and a half away. Here's Kozarienzi. As Gomez. As Roldan tries to play it off. As Nelson's actually been great today at that left back position. As Roldan just gives it away. As that one gets played back out to Gabriel Peck. Trailing is Hassani Dotson. Here's Winder. Back to Peck. As Niuhu does a good job. As Winder will play it out. As we are about 20 seconds away from the final whistle now. As LA beats Seattle 2-0. As that ball forward goes nowhere. As there's the 95th minute there. As Miller tries to go forward, but Seattle gets the ball back, and now Roldan just gives it back to Nascimento. Here's Peck. Cuts in. And we'll give it up as Winder gives it back to Peck. And now that ball gets played back. And there's the final whistle as the LA Galaxy will beat Seattle 2-0 today. In a game that, quite frankly, listen, man, they were just the better team today. All credit to LA. That back four that, had a problem leaking goals this season was absolutely resolute today. They were organized. They did a fantastic job. And, for Seattle, who knows what would have happened had Musovski not gone off. But the reality is it happened. And as far as Seattle's attack goes, it was pretty much non-existent in this one. And points of this one, Seattle was absolutely sloppy. So let's go ahead and take a look at the final stats in this one. Seattle did win the possession battle, 58-42. XG, LA wins this one, 2.28 to Seattle's 1.45. Total shots, Seattle had 15 to LA's 9. Shots on target, Seattle had 5. LA had 2. Both teams had 3 big chances. Seattle missed all 3 of their big chances, although I can't really tell you. Well, yeah, there were a few chances that they absolutely missed. And LA missed their 1. Accurate passes, Seattle 523 to LA's 367s. Yellow cards, LA had 4, Seattle had 1. Seattle did end up winning the corner battle 5-1. XG from open play, LA 2.28 to Seattle's 1.05. Block shots. Seattle had 4 block shots to LA's 2. LA did hit the woodwork once. Shots inside the box, Seattle had 9. LA had 8, and shots outside the box, Seattle had 6. LA had 1. Although, when you look at those 6 shots outside the box, only 2 of them really were kind of on target. The rest of them were blocked or were absolutely disgusting. Total passes, Seattle 617 to LA's 461. Passes in the own half, Seattle 194, LA 174. Passes in the opposition half, Seattle 342, LA 205. Accurate long balls, LA 30, Seattle 21. Accurate crosses, 6-1 Seattle. Throws, 20-16 goes to Seattle. Touches in the opposition box, 30-19. Both teams were offside twice. And of course, yellow cards, LA had 4, Seattle had 1. Fouls committed, LA 13, Seattle 3. LA did win the tackle battle 18-14. Seattle did win interceptions 9-8. LA had 3 blocks to Seattle's 2. LA had 32 clearances to Seattle's 5. And that's a big number right there, which just lets you know that Seattle essentially couldn't even break down LA's back line. Keeper saves, Marcinkowski had 5, and Andrew Thomas had none. Seattle did win the duel battle 39-36. Seattle won ground duels 30-27. Aerial duels were even at 9, and successful dribbles, LA 6, Seattle 3. And so not exactly the greatest performance by the Sounders, but again, in the grand scheme of things, still 24 points, although right now Real Salt Lake is winning. So if that holds off, they will jump Seattle into 3rd place. But again, still holding a 3-point lead over the Dynamo, LAFC, and Minnesota United. A 4-point lead over FC Dallas. And of course, with that win, the Galaxy move into ninth place on 19 points. So, there's LA right there in the playoff picture. So again, a good win. They were the team that were the better team today, without a doubt. And they definitely earned it. It sucks, man. Oh, that sucks. All right, so around Major League Soccer, let's see. So Sporting KC did hold on to beat Austin 2-1. The Dynamo did beat Vancouver today. As Guilherme scored in the 90 plus 5 as Vancouver played the last 30 minutes, a man down. Real Salt Lake is leading Colorado 2-1 as Xavier Gozo scored in the 35th minute and Sergi Salans scored in the 67th minute. So it looks like Real Salt Lake will be taking the Rocky Mountain derby right there. San Diego and Cincinnati are even at 2-2. That one is coming into the 89th minute. As Marcus Ingvartsen scored in the 31st minute for San Diego and Amal Pellegrino scored in the 65th. Kenji and Boma Den in the 10th for Cincinnati and Tom Barlow in the 49th. So that one is 2-2. And San Jose right now and FC Dallas are have just started this. Yeah, it looks like they're actually at the end of the first half. That one is at 1-1 as Bo LaRue scored in the 17th minute for San Jose and Patrickson Delgado scored for FC Dallas. So that one is 1-1. So that is your look around. What's going on, Nate Ski, RIFC, TID, till I die. Before I go, please do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming stateside footy content. As we are so close to 500, we'd like to get this channel up to there before the World Cup. So do me a favor, man. Show some support to the channel. That'd be awesome. But yeah, listen. Me personally, I kind of think that the lineup was a little underwhelming. Obviously, Seattle was rotating a little bit, as Albert started the game on the bench, but obviously came in when Musovski, Christian Roldan started on the bench as well too. There were a few different positions Seattle was rotating. But that being said, it still should have been enough to at least get one against this LA team. But that being said, man, all credit to LA. They didn't have to do much. Utilize their speed, which they did. Joseph Paintsel was the threat in the first half. Gabriel Peck was a threat in both halves. And, again, LA just created on the counterattack and they were able to take advantage of the opportunities that were given to them. Hats off. They earned it. Seattle just couldn't figure out a way. And, you saw what Seattle was trying to do. They were trying to play their way through the middle of the park. And LA just did a very good job of clogging passing lanes and made things difficult. There was just no space to operate. And when things got desperate, then you saw desperate things happen. Shots outside the box that weren't on target, crosses that were blocked. And, credit to their left back. He made things completely impossible, but, yeah, Seattle just had nothing to offer tonight, and it's going to be back to the drawing board. But that being said, man, it is what it is. One moment of magic from Royce. Yeah, that long ball to Gabriel Peck in the first half was beautiful, and he played him in. He played him in so beautifully as well too. It just was unbelievable. But that's going to do it for me, guys. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Again, man, make sure you support the channel by hitting that like and subscribe button and the notification bell. I'll probably try to get back tomorrow as well, too, as we set the stage for Spurs versus Chelsea tomorrow on Monday. I hate these EPL schedules, man, these Monday games. Usually I'll do a watch along, but, Monday. Can't do it on Monday, man. It is what it is. So I'll be back tomorrow to talk a little bit about Spurs. That should be fun. So until then, enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. And take care, guys.